I'm going to be testing 4 types of firewood from dirt cheap to premium to find out if paying more actually makes a difference. Now, one of these is basically free. Not really sure what I'm getting myself into there. One you'll find at most petrol stations or supermarkets. One is from Lekto Wood Fuels, and the last one is pretty expensive. So let's start with the shopping and let's dive right in. Right then, so the first stop is going to be Facebook Marketplace. So I found a guy called Kevin, and he has a skip that I feel like is going to overfill. So he said, I'm welcome to come round at any time to pick up anything I like from the skip. I can see from the picture that he's got a few bits and pieces that could be good for us. Right then, so I've just arrived at the address and the guy has been really cool. He said I can help myself to any of this wood. So what can actually fit in my car? That looks like it'd be decent to burn. All right, let's pop this in the car. What else have we got? What was that? That looks pretty decent to me. Anything else? Got loads of wood here. Let's probably leave it at that. Let's take this one just for good measure, and that'll be it. Thanks, Kevin. What a legend. Right then, so we're now going to head to the petrol station, and then we're going to make another stop at the supermarket to get some more firewood. Right, so we're at the Morrison's petrol station here, and we've got lots of home fuels to choose from here. And I'm going to go with the kiln-dried logs here by Home Fire. How much is that? That is $9.99 a bag. Let's get some. Right then, so we've just arrived at the supermarket now. The supermarket of choice is Asda. So we're going to get some more firewood and see how it compares to the $9.99 we just spent at the Morrison's petrol station. Right then, so I've actually been through the whole supermarket and they've got no logs at all. They've only got instant barbecues, which is no good. So we're going to have to go to another supermarket. Sainsbury's is probably the closest. So let's go. Okay, so I've just been to Sainsbury's and they've got absolutely nothing. So I'm going to make the executive decision. We've already got the free wood from Kevin, and then we've also got the wood from Morrison's, the petrol station. So let's go home and get ordering from Lekto Wood Fuels. Okay, so we're back home, and I'm not going to lie, I'm absolutely knackered. So I much prefer this process of just going online, and I've just bought the kiln-dried hardwood logs. Now, the reviews that Lekto Wood Fuels have got are unbelievable. They've got thousands, literally thousands of 5-star reviews. But I'm really intrigued to see how it burns and just see if it lives up to the hype. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Now, I found a company that is selling hardwood logs at nearly £40 a box, and I just can't do that. You know, I've read the reviews and you know, it's hit or miss, really. I'm going to pass on this just because I can't be paying that much for a box of, you know, hardwood logs. It's just crazy. But I think we've got plenty of wood to play with, and then we can do some comparisons. So yeah, let's do this. Okay, so completely forgot that we're going to have to do this, but we are going to have to cut this wood because that is not going to fit in the burner. Right, that is enough for me. Right, so we've got the wood that we got from Kevin's. Now, this is looking a little bit green, bit dirty. We've then got the Home Fire kiln-dried logs that we got from Morrison's. They look uniform, but I can already sense a little bit of moisture in there. Right, so I've unpacked these. I can already tell there's a lot of moisture locked in these logs because they've probably been out there for weeks, you know, maybe months, I'm not sure. So apprehensive about burning these and the burn time that you're going to get with these. They're nice and uniform, but still apprehensive about that. And then we have these puppies, so the Lekto Wood Fuels kiln-dried hardwood logs. Now, the packaging on these is just amazing. Look at that. That is beautiful. It came like that as well. You can just sense that these are super premium. You know, they're super dry, nice and uniform, really compact into their box, which is really handy. Yeah, let's get these burning and let's do the test. Okay, so here we go. The fire is burning absolutely lovely there. And we've got our first bits of wood that we're gonna pop in. Now, a little bit apprehensive about this, just purely because this has been sitting in a skip with rain, sun, all sorts. Okay, here we go. You've always got to be careful with this, just because you actually never know what's in that wood. And especially when you've got elements of that green into that wood there, that could potentially be toxic fumes that are going up into your flue there, potentially into your household as well. I wouldn't recommend this, but we're doing this just purely for the challenge. It's starting to catch light, but the colours that are coming from that is not looking good. Yeah. Okay, this is not looking too good. This could potentially be damaging the log burner, and God knows what's going up through there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to take the executive decision and we're gonna stop this. Next, we're gonna go to the Home Fire premium hardwood kiln dried logs that we got from the Morrison's petrol station. They're fairly uniform, which is pretty handy. You've got quite a few in the bag, but how are they gonna burn? Let's see. There you go. Now, one thing with these is that they typically take a while to catch light, I always find. Now, they've obviously got moisture in them just because they've been out in the open. They've been in that petrol station for weeks, months, whatever, years, potentially. I don't know how popular they are these days. First impressions, I think it took a bit too long to start burning, but you know, you can move on from that. The second thing is the heat. The heat coming from here is not that strong. You want to feel the heat in the room, and I'm just not really feeling it. And then the smoke as well. So there's a lot of smoke coming from the log, which, you know, is going to be going up into the chimney. Again, they're uniform, they're a good price, but if you're going to go for some logs, one, they can't be in a supermarket or outside. If they're outside for too long, then inevitably you're going to come into problems. It's not going to be strong, and that heat output is not going to be enough. We are now going to go for the Lekto Wood Fuels kiln dried hardwood logs, and let's do this. So let's pop one of these in here and let's see what we're working with. Whoo, that is burning. A great start. When I look back at the petrol station ones, it took at least 10 minutes to get to this stage. So that is a very, very good start. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is incredible. The heat, wow. You know, the wood that we had from the skip, whoa, I'm glad we got rid of that. The flame is just looking so pure as well. I compare it to the petrol station ones where it was so much smoke. There's hardly any smoke here. Can't recommend these enough. These are incredible. Right then, so we are coming to the end of the process here, and I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. So let's do the verdict. So the FIREWOOD, not worth the hassle. You could do some serious damage there. So totally not worth it. The petrol station logs, decent backup, but kind of hit or miss really, I would say. And then the Lekto ones, this really hit the sweet spot. You know, great quality, easy to use, burns hot and super, super clean. Thank you so much for watching. If this helped, give it a like, maybe even subscribe if you're into this sort of thing. And then let me know in the comments what firewood you use or if you've tried Lekto. But yeah, stay warm and I will catch you on the next one.